All right, let's check this out. Apparently, the man got a manifesto. Let's see, what in the hell is going on?
Welcome back. Law enforcement is on the scene in California, digging through the home of suspected White House Correspondents Dinner shooter Cole Allen. Christina Coleman is outside the house in Torrance, California, and she has the latest. Christina?
Hi, yeah, so we've been out here all day. I can tell you we've seen FBI officials out here on the street of the alleged gunman going door to door, checking with neighbors. I heard one of them saying that they were looking for Ring camera video. So, they're doing their due diligence, being very meticulous about this investigation. I also talked to a number of neighbors out here, and they tell me they are just completely shocked by what happened. They heard about this shooting that happened, there in the lobby of that hotel, but did not expect for the alleged shooter to be living here in their neighborhood. So they are coming to terms with that. What we know about the suspect, 31 years old, identified as Cole Allen, lives here in Torrance, here in LA County, about 20 miles southwest of downtown LA. Has a very extensive background, educational background, was big into tech, graduated from Caltech, studied mechanical engineering, and yet his life is going to take a dramatic turn if he is found guilty of the charges he will likely be facing. Again, authorities say that he took a train from LA to Chicago, and then from Chicago to DC to carry out this attack. And so fortunately no one was seriously injured, but again, authorities really working hard, investigating what led up to this incident.
Christina, I know his parents, I believe, have talked to investigators at some level. He also has a brother and I believe a sister, at least what we've seen. Do you know if the family or he have, got a lawyer that's out front saying, hey, we'll put out a statement or anything of that nature yet?
I have not seen that so far. I will say, our Matt Fenn, with his incredible and great reporting, he says that the parents are cooperating. We do believe that they lived here in this home with Cole Allen. Also, White House officials, they say that several of his family members have talked to authorities, including his brother, who said that Allen had an alleged manifesto that he had sent to family members. So apparently the brother said that after the incident last night. And then also the sister, she talked to authorities.
So you can see a lot of times in situations like that, people that know you might not take you seriously if you're writing all type of crazy shit. They might be thinking, all right, we need to do an intervention, get them some mental help or whatever, but they may not have taken it seriously. That's interesting.
And she said that, he would make some comments, some rhetoric alluding to needing to fix the issues that are occurring here today. So whatever that means. Also, the White House saying that he was in a group called the Wide Awake. So I went to the group's website.
Interesting.
The group describes itself as an open source network who radically reimagines the future through creative collaboration. So I'm sure investigators are going to be looking into all of that. Back to you.
Christina Coleman, thank you so much.
Yeah, they're going to be like, any of y'all know?
I'll bring it out to you first. We've heard a lot in the last hour and a half even. Background on who he is a little bit more. It's colored in. We don't know much about his family. We don't know what his family's political views are or anything like that. And, they're innocent people, so that makes sense. But it does help color in how he got there. And I think that is really kind of the million-dollar question is how do you go from what we know about him to what we saw happen last night?
And that's what's most troubling, in particular, when you consider this is a person who's a teacher, someone who you would imagine as an educator would be balanced and would want the very best for all people, even if you disagree with them politically. Unfortunately, radicalization is a real thing. You heard Nicole Parker talking about it, and I think that's really where this investigation will likely lead.
By the way, I know y'all think it's false flag. I know you think it's staged. I know you think it's fake. I know a lot of you do. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody. It seemed like maybe a third of the comments, maybe in half, I don't know, but I can tell that a lot of you think it's I don't know. Could be. Yeah, it could be. Could be staged. Yeah, I know. I know the primaries and the midterms, You know what I mean? Yeah, I know. So people think he's trying to get himself up for the midterms, get some sympathy or whatever.
How did this happen? How long ago did this happen? The posts tell us a lot, and we'll see where we go from here.
Tom, there are a lot of questions, of course, still out there. What's the biggest question that you haven't seen answered?
Well, I have a lot of questions that are unanswered, of course. A lot of it has to do with just the security of the building itself. But I want to know,
yeah,
too,
people
when
were
you
talking about that, too.
social media, you comb through who he was talking to, you comb through the interactions with the family, what they knew, when they knew it. You know, it
Some
also
of those like, well, how do you even get a gun in there? You know what I mean?
takes me back to the assassination of Charlie Kirk and some of the writings and some of the communications between him and his roommate. That takes me back there. So I'm sure we're going to find...
I think people get lackadaisical. They get too relaxed sometimes when it just isn't a problem. So if this is real, you know, security does security day in and day out. You get so used to the monotony of there not being a problem that when one does arise, sometimes it throws people off. Or people get relaxed with as strict as they should be. You know what I'm saying? So...
out more in the coming days and the coming weeks, certainly, but a lot of unanswered questions. Just go back to somebody who was very smart, sound like they had a good job, had a family, and now, for all intents and purposes, his life is going to be over because of the fallout of this and what he did. So a lot of questions there as to how you get there.
Alicia, I think we also around this table and to a certain extent kind of empathize with the overall fact that this happened because we don't want to see anyone's life ruined. But, I mean, I think that's colored by the fact he didn't have a chance to do what he was there to do.
Yeah, people, you don't want to see people ruin their lives, but people are going to make their choices, you know.
And ultimately, from what we know, he had weapons and he was there to use them. As a matter of fact, he shot some rounds off.
He had two firearms and knives as well, so he was very determined, and also, you know, in his manifesto, knocking the security that he saw there at the hotel. He wasn't just a teacher, he was teacher of the year for C2, for this place. He tutored high school students.
Amazing.
And that was December of 2024. So that's less than a year and a half ago, right? What happened in January of 2025? The President of the United States was inaugurated in January of 2025. What happened in that time frame from teacher of the year to what happened last night?
Yeah, that is the question. Hopefully we'll get that answer.
Be sure to like and...
Yeah, I mean, you can be teacher of the year, dad of the year, mom of the year, all that good stuff. The fact of the matter is, I guess no one is all good or all bad. You know, there's that balance that comes into place, and some people are 99% good, but that 1% bad, when they decide to flip, or they lose it that day, totally ruined, you know? There's this other video here. It says,
Well, the suspect...
let's see here. Suspect frequently made radical statements, sister tells officials. So he was, that sticks with the whole, he was radicalized thing. Oh, boy. Wow. Well, I guess we'll find out more and see exactly what's going on. Post comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you got any more details, let us know below. 10 million subscribers.